Hello students, we shall begin the new chapter, that is chapter 11, the Hitchhiker. So about the writer we shall read a bit. Who is the writer? Ronald Dahl. This short story is written by Donald Dahl. And Donald Dahl was born in Wales in 1960. His parents were Norwegian. He worked for an oil company and later he joined the RAF as a pilot. In 1942, while he was in the USA, he began to write the stories about his experiences during the war. He was written a number of short stories and many of them was startling and unexpected ending. He died in 1990. Okay. So, in this short story, The Hitchhiker, we see that the story contains a lot of slang words and expressions. When you read this, you can see that. And which are not normally used in formal or polite conversation. The author uses these words and expressions because he wants to show exactly how the hitchhiker speaks. You will find a great contrast between the speech of the narrator who is the driver in the short story, we see that, and that of the hitchhiker. The driver is an educated and refined person, whereas the hitchhiker is not. He is an uneducated man. You will notice that many words containing an apostrophe. The apostrophe, as you know, stands in place of missing letters. The way the hitchhiker speaks, he leaves out the H in words, which begin with the letter and G in words ending in ing. So there are a few words when we come across this chapter, we see a few words with the apostrophes. That is not a proper English, it is. So who speaks this particular thing? It is the hitchhiker's word. And exactly what he has spoken, the writer, the driver, the writer, mainly the character is they both, the hitchhiker and the driver and the policeman. We come across three persons in the particular story. So he speaks about that, exactly that words he has given in this chapter. Okay, in the first paragraph you will find an example of the author's skill in choosing the right word to describe something. Notice how, when talking about the car, the author says the engine growls and grunts. When the car goes faster, the engine purrs. Still later, the car is whispering along at 70 miles an hour. So here we have growling and grunting, then purring and lasting whispering. Further, on this passage, take note of the way the author describes the hitchhiker. He gives an idea that the man is just like a rat. So he gives expression describing about the hitchhiker that he is just like a ratty face. Again, we can say that he is just like a rat. Okay, so that is exaggeration. Who is the hitchhiker? What is the meaning of hitchhiker? A man who waits for a lift at the roadside. We have seen many people standing in the roadside for a lift. So we can call them as the hitchhiker. Okay. So now I will explain the chapter, the summary of the chapter, so that you will understand what is in this chapter all about. Okay. So in the first paragraph, when we read the words in the first paragraph, that tells us that the owner of the car is rich and are new car, and also he has a new car, exciting toy, a big BMW, fast car, and also is an expensive car, and soft leather seats, genuine and expensive. So you can say that he who is traveling in this particular car, the BMW, the driver, the narrator, or we can say like the author itself, he is the driving the car. The first paragraph is, and this is the exaggeration of the car, how it is. It's a BMW, and also is an expensive car, and also it has got a very fast car, and also soft leather seats, and very, we can say genuinely that it's a very expensive one. And the driver stops for the hitchhiker. We see the second paragraph of the chapter. The driver stops for the hitchhiker because he knows how it feels to stand by the road while cars pass by. So we can say that the writer, the author feels for the hitchhiker. Might have been once upon a time, he was also standing as a hitchhiker at the roadside. So he understood the feeling of the other one. So he also feels for the hitchhiker. So he stops his car to give him a lift. The driver describes the hitchhiker as a small, ratty-faced man with a grey teeth. So what is the next paragraph? We see that the driver is describing the hitchhiker, how he looks like. He says that the hitchhiker has a small, ratty-faced, grey teeth, dark, quick and clever eyes like a rat, and pointed ears. He was wearing a cloth cap and a greyish jacket, and with enormous pockets. He looked like a human rat. So how he was looking, the hitchhiker? He was looking like a human rat. And what he was wearing and everything is written in this third paragraph of the chapter. Okay. The driver stops questioning the hitchhiker because he remembered how he had felt as a hitchhiker when people kept on asking him questions. So while they were traveling both, the author was asking questions to the hitchhiker, and after some times he felt that the hitchhiker also didn't like asking so many questions. So he just kept quiet, and he felt that it is not good asking continuously the questions to the hitchhiker. So he kept quiet. The hitchhiker thought the driver was a good writer. So meanwhile they were traveling along to London. The hitchhiker understood that the driver was a writer. Okay, and he earned a lot of money. Why he felt like that? He felt because he owned a fast and expensive car. By looking at the car, he felt that the hitchhiker felt that he is a very good rich man. He is because he is owning an expensive car. The hitchhiker coached the driver into driving faster by saying that his car would not be able to do 120 miles an hour. Faced with this provocation, the driver decided to prove it. So what the hitchhiker was asking to him? The hitchhiker was asking to him to ride fast, and he obeyed the hitchhiker also. He wanted to prove that. He told that hitchhiker told that faster by saying that his car would not be able to do 129 miles an hour. So it cannot go 120 miles an hour. So the driver wanted to prove that. So he wanted to drive fast. If the hitchhiker had revealed his profession, did he reveal the real profession, the hitchhiker? No, he did not reveal his real profession. If he had revealed his profession, he felt that the driver might have asked him to get out of the car. What is the real job of the hitchhiker? Stealing. Okay. What is what? No, pickpocketing. So if he had told the real profession to the author, he may not have admitted him in the car. Okay, that is why the little fear was there. So he hid everything from the author. And finally, at last end of the story, we see that he is selling everything. Okay, the policeman decided to question the hitchhiker because he has witnessed too. So what happened in between? They were in a high speed. The policeman caught them in between, and the policeman questioned both of them. What is the reason behind this? The fingersmith impressed the author by taking from his pocket a tin of tobacco and a packet of cigarette papers. The hitchhiker called himself a fingersmith. The hitchhiker did not want to call him as a pickpocketer, but he wanted to call him as a fingersmith. Okay, and because he did not like the common expressions pickpocket, fingersmith sounded much reputable. Okay, and comparable to others terms such as goldsmith and silversmith, one who has special skill. So hitchhiker considered as he has a very having a good skill. So he wanted to call him as a fingersmith. Okay. After the hitchhiker had rolled a cigarette very quickly, he proceeded to move the driver's belt, his shoelace, and his watch. Finally, and most impressively, he showed the driver the two books he had taken from the policeman's pocket. While he was traveling with the author, what all things he has stolen from him? He had taken his shoelace, belt, and his watch. So he never noticed that he had taken all these things from the author. Author also did not recognize. And finally, he had taken from the policeman. He had taken the two books, the written materials. Okay, the introduction about the driver and the hitchhiker he had taken. No? So that also he has taken from his pocket. The hitchhiker tried to excuse his profession by saying that he was a professional. And secondly, he also said that when he goes to the race, he never takes anything from the loser. He never takes anything from the loser or from the poor people. He only goes after the winners and the rich. Okay, those who have money to spare. So he himself saying that I never take anything from the poor people or those who have no money. I take from the rich, those who have the money, those who can afford. Now from them only I take or I steal. So that in that way I am also a good pickpocketer. Okay. Yes, it was wrong to use such skills to take things from others. We know that whatever it is, it's very bad thing to steal from the other. Though such skills may be used for the sake of entertainment, misusing them to take things from others make them criminal offense. So though he says that I respect my profession as a pickpocketer, I don't take anything from the poor people or those who have no money. I steal from those who have the rich people only. But whatever it is, the profession of stealing is not a good one. Okay. And for these used, sometimes those such skills may be used for the entertaining also, and misusing them to take things from others make them criminal offense. So we are not appreciated this kind of profession. At the last, the author is saying. Okay, this is the full summary of the lesson, what it is all about in this chapter. Okay, so it's a lengthy lesson. You will be reading the chapter, reading the chapter, and the some words are very difficult ones. Find out the word meanings. It is written here, words to know. So read out that also and learning it, the word meaning and the exercises. Thank you students for listening.